Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. I apologize, I'm running out of voice today for some reason. I don't know why, but um, so just wanted to go over some info from last week and from the week to come. So week 5, last week we talked about directional strategies, so mission, vision, values, goals, how that plays into marketing and strategy overall, and we had some activities that allowed us to look a little closer at vision, how leadership plays in the role of vision, and then also a writing assignment about a mission statement and, kind of some revisions to that. So I look forward to seeing that. It's always interesting to see. I think I may have mentioned this last week, but I always like this assignment. It's interesting to see what is inspiring to people about a mission statement and how they change them based on their own what they've seen, what has influenced them, what is important to them. So I look forward to reading that assignment. So week 6, we're actually going to start looking at developing alternatives. So we have, we may have a strategy that we're looking at or would think to move forward with, but then what are some alternatives? What are, how does that, how do we assess one's potential strategy versus another? Those types of things. So our discussion this week is about vertical and horizontal integration and some of the rationales behind that. And we see actually the Pittsburgh area is a perfect test case for both vertical and horizontal integration. So you see a lot of examples of that throughout the healthcare system in the Pittsburgh area. So good examples there, but there's good examples nationally. It's certainly not just there. Here in Orlando, we have a very large system, Advent Health. I probably have mentioned them throughout this course, but they are the UPMC of Orlando and huge academic, setting for the academic programs, the med school programs, and nursing programs, whatnot down here. But then also just massive community hospital buyouts. They pretty much cover all of the state of Florida at this point, and outside of the state of Florida, they are actually a religious-based healthcare system connected with the Seventh-day Adventist Church. So, really interesting health system. It's the one that we chose to go with because of their depth and breadth of options, but also just they seem to really be the quality player in town. So it's interesting to see how much vertical integration occurs, but then also horizontal integration, and we see a lot of that here. And obviously, like I said, UPMC and AHN are both really great examples, but there's other smaller examples too, especially in the long-term care market right now, seeing a lot of that. So and then we have a case study this week. I'm going to apologize, not calling Nancy out, but I will apologize to her personally here on the video in that I hadn't updated this until just last week. So originally there were only 5 of you in class, and so I had to add Nancy. So Nancy was added to group 2. And keep in mind too that granted, it looks a little different in your world, but there is a groups tool, and like I said, it's not going to look the same to you, but there is a groups tool. It's probably under your course tools, where you can do things. Actually, I'll just open one of these. There's a group blog, group discussion board, journal, wiki, etc. So just be aware that that's there in case you weren't, and that you can share information via the groups tool. But Google Drive, Google Docs, that all works great as well. And then obviously emails and texts and all of that stuff works well. It's a case study, Cabarrus, I'm not sure exactly how you pronounce it, Memorial Hospital. It's actually a real hospital. It's been bought out via an integration plan by a large organization in North Carolina now, but at the time it was an independent, I believe, or maybe just part of a real small system. But I think it's a really interesting case study to get you thinking about, okay, there's a bunch of strategic alternatives. Which one makes makes most sense. And to be honest, there's no right or wrong answer. It's really about exploring the different opportunities, and then ultimately, I'll tell you what happened. But that's not going to happen until next week. And then obviously we have our quiz and our Ed puzzle. Don't forget about your big project due next week. Because this is week 6, believe it or not. So it'll be due at the end of week 7. So you still have 2 full weeks to work on it. But you might want to certainly spend some time on that this week as well. And as always, please just let me know if you have any questions. And actually, I'll encourage everybody, if you have questions on the materials, please reach out. I mean, that's what I'm here for. I'm happy to hop in the classroom with you, happy to chat with you on the phone, even just answer questions over email. I'm happy to do that, or text. Just please feel free to reach out. I feel like some folks are hesitant to reach out, but please don't be. That's what we're here for. That's what they pay me for. So if you're struggling with some of the materials, I can help talk you through them, but also, maybe even a video with someone else's voice, or, some online resources, or, I'm happy to put together whatever I can to get you heading down the right path. So please just let me know. Okay, so this question, I had heard from a couple of you about it, and as I'd said, I know I said to Megan this morning, I'm like, I have no idea what I did there. I think I worded the stem improperly, which ended up being making it completely wrong. So in any case, I gave everyone credit. But I just want to talk through it quickly. So which of the following is not true regarding critical success factors? So ignore that whole stem. I'll just talk about critical success factors for a minute. So the first item, critical success factors are the same for each service category. Well, not necessarily. They could be similar. They'll be similar for those that are in the same strategic group across service categories, but they're not necessarily the same. They could be the same. That's kind of what's the problem with this question too. So I apologize for that. The next bullet, critical success factors are similar for all members of a strategic group. And yes, that tends to be true. So when it doesn't mean they're exactly the same, it just means they're similar. So when you're looking at those critical success factors and what you need to do to be successful, the different key performance indicators you need to hit, etc. Across all members of a strategic group, they're likely to be somewhat similar. Critical success factors do not vary from one service category to another. That is not true. They can certainly vary from one service category to another, but they may also be similar. So that's where they can vary, but they may be similar. It's really depends on the situation and what is going on in that particular strategic group. And then all of the above statements are true. Obviously, that is not true. So the question was just a mess. But so if it confused you, if you have additional questions about critical success factors, please just let me know. They give some good examples in the textbook too. I know the textbook is not easy reading. It's certainly graduate level reading, and probably the type that you take sit next to the bed in case you are looking to take a nap, and so it's the type of textbook that I would have read in grad school and ended up waking up 15 minutes later with it sitting on my face. It's not thoroughly stimulating at times, but especially when they give examples, real life examples from the healthcare world, I think there's a lot of really good information in there. So sometimes it's even just skimming and highlighting what seems to be really important and digging into those examples, and then kind of following back to the things that maybe you didn't get the first time around. That can be really helpful. But again, if you're having trouble, and that's where I think maybe some of the trouble is coming with content retention, is the textbook. And honestly, I've looked at other textbooks. I have a really great strategic marketing textbook that I use at the undergrad level that could easily be a grad level textbook as well, but it doesn't give enough of the strategy. And that one's pretty heavy too. So strategy is just a heavy topic. I mean, it's really about the success and failure of your organization. So they're all going to be pretty heavy, I think. But if you have problems, you don't understand something that they've tried to say in the text, please just let me know. I'm happy to to try and decipher it for you. Next question. So everyone got credit for that one. Next one. Mission statement is relevant only to the present and is not relevant to the future. And that is not really the case. When you think about the mission, it's really about, what is your reason? Why are you here? That's going to describe your mission statement. So I think this question was really to get you to discern between the mission and the vision. The vision does tend to be that future thinking, forward thinking element, whereas the mission statement is more about who are we right now, but it doesn't mean that it's not relevant to the future, because who are we right now, and how does that impact our future work or our future activity? So it's not just present, but the mission is also not just future. The mission is kind of an all-encompassing, here's who we are and what we do. And that's so that made this false, because it is very relevant to the future as well. Next one. Strategic leadership has traditionally focused on mid-level management positions in an organization, and this is false. A lot of the strategic management tends to come from those higher level positions. However, so it's traditionally been focused at the C-suite level, and director level. But the thing that I really like about strategic management overall, and that's really one of the focuses of this text, is that it's not just about the C-suite, it's about the organization as a whole. So you can't set strategy in the C-suite and expect a grassroots swell of support. You need to include all of those folks across your organization. You need to get people that are part-time workers in your cafeteria, certainly staff nurses, certainly clinicians, folks on the administrative side that do billing and coding, people that are in charge of facilities and engineering, and then your obvious folks, which would be like your VPs and your C-suite folks. So everybody needs to be involved. But the problem is, and what we're trying to push away from, is that it's been traditionally mid-level, or it has not been traditionally mid, it's been traditionally C-suite VPs and directors involved in these activities. So that is, this answer was false. And that's all we've got. So again, any questions for the week, please just let me know. I will be happy to answer. I'd also encourage everybody to take a look at, and if you don't know how to, please let me know. I have a little directional thing, but make sure you're looking at your feedback on your documents in the Turnitin, I can't remember what they call it, Turnitin something studio, but make sure you're looking at your feedback in there. I mark up the documents. I give you some comments throughout, depending on what issues were. So, and I typically, even if you get full credit on something, you'll probably see a comment or two in there. So please make sure you're looking at those comments. I'm seeing some things happen over and over, and that tells me you're probably not seeing the comments. So if you don't know how to get in there and look at the feedback studio, that's it. Turnitin Feedback Studio, I think it's called. If you don't know how to get in there and look at it, it's typically just clicking into the assignment through the grading portal, etc. And you can get in there and then see there's buttons on the side. You have to click the top ones to look at the manual comments. You can click the next one down to see other comments. So, but if you don't know how to do it, please let me know. I either have a short video or maybe just a narrative on how to dig into those. I think I'm the only one in the program that uses it. So if you hadn't had me before, which I don't think that you guys have, you may not be familiar with it. So if you need some help, please just let me know. And otherwise, that's it. So everyone have a great week, and I'll see you all in the classroom. Thanks.